Game starring yours truly. Come on, let's scratch that Deadpool itch. Bang, bang, bang! Bang, bang, bang! Bouncy. More bouncy. Woo! Best ride ever!
What's up, everybody? Jim Tasty back again for our second review. Last week we did X-Men Origins Wolverine. This week we are doing Deadpool the video game as we get hyped and prepped and stoked for the movie Deadpool and Wolverine coming out this Friday. This video will be out right before then. I am super excited, so that's why I played Origins, X-Men Origins Wolverine. That's why I'm playing Deadpool the game. And just to clarify, I'm gonna be making some comparisons from the Deadpool game to the Wolverine game, just because I played both of them back to back, and then both of them are just similar games in you know, so many ways. So, but we'll get into that here in the deep dive. So just discussing my brief history with the character of Deadpool. As of the time of this recording, as I'm recording right now, I've never seen a Deadpool movie. Long story, basically, you know, an annoying friend asked me to go see the movie. We all have those friends, right? Like sometimes, you know, you just don't want to go hang out with somebody. So I never saw Deadpool 1. When Deadpool 2 came out, my family invited me to go and I hadn't seen the first one. And so just skipped them. And that was also the prime time of the MCU. And I'm a diehard MCU fan as well as a general Marvel fan. So I was just like, oh, not MCU, no thank you. But obviously I know the movies are great. As of the time this gets uploaded though, I will have seen Deadpool 1 and 2 as we get prepped for Deadpool and Wolverine. So that is my history with the character. So really, you know, I've seen clips and stuff here and there from the movies. This game is really my first like long-term exposure to the character. So, you know, I knew his fourth wall breaking traits and, you know, his self-referential humor, but this was really my, you know, extended time with the character. So, and, you know, a little tease here. Kind of enjoyed it. Originally released on the Xbox 360 and PS3 back in 2013, developed by High Moon Studios. Now, if we look at High Moon Studios, a lot of, you know, tie-in games, a lot of like Transformers games, stuff like that. Now they are part of a Call of Duty monolith. You know, they're one of the 20 studios that works on Call of Duty. So, you know, they're still making an impact in some way or some fashion, similar to Raven Software, you know, that we were talking about last week with X-Men Origins Wolverine. But obviously Raven Software, amazing developer. High Moon Studios, you know, they had some solid games. As I was doing the research for this game, and as I was playing it, I found out allegedly that this game cost $100 million. So that was like the initial hook on this game. I was like, bro, what? This game costs $100 million bucks. Like there is no freaking way. So that's kind of shaping how I'm looking at this game now, is like, you know, Deadpool, the $100 million bomb, you know, because it didn't do too well, you know, tease there. The reviews are kind of middling, you know, depending on what platform you look at. It got as low as a 57 on a Metacritic, all the way as high as a 63, I believe, you know, running the gamut of PS3 all the way to Xbox One, because it did get re-released. Speaking of re-releases, this game got delisted like 4 times or something like that. I was reading it, I was doing some research, and I was like, just kind of like X-Men Origins Wolverine, you know, can't buy it anymore. Same thing with Deadpool. You cannot buy this game online on Steam or, you know, the Xbox Marketplace or the PlayStation Store. Can't do it. When I bought this game, you know, it did feel pretty good to collect it, own it, you know, hold the case. We won't do, you know, an unboxing because, spoiler alert, this game doesn't really have a manual, at least on the Xbox One version. I did watch videos on YouTube. You do get a little manual on the 360 PS3 version. Xbox One version, you don't. But as you can see here, it's got a cool looking cover. You know, it says, "This is what awesome looks like." Boom. Hilarious. Love it. Cool little comic panels on the back here. Love it. Super cool. I miss these kind of games, man. Another big factoid that is important to mention here is that Daniel Way helped write the story for this game. And if you don't know Daniel Way, he is a very prolific comic book writer, and he wrote a lot of Deadpool story arcs and issues and things like that. So without even knowing that ahead of time, when I just was playing through the game, definitely felt authentic. So first impressions, okay? So how did the game initially grab me? What were my first thoughts? Initially, I loved it. Very positive. As soon as you turn on the game, boot it up, and you see the title screen with Deadpool, and he's just sitting on the couch. I initially, I just was immediately drawn to what the experience would be. You know, as you can see here, he'll, teleport away here and back, and he'll be in like different outfits, or he'll do fun, goofy, manipulations with the camera, a little Terminator 2 cameo, thumbs up. Other characters will kind of walk across the screen. So again, very authentic to the Deadpool, fourth wall breaking and self-referential humor. Love it. I thought the combat was fun. The graphics were decent. So we'll get into the gameplay breakdown right now. So first off, combat. I thought the strengths of the combat felt very satisfying and fluid. There's a variety of attacks. You get the, iconic katanas. You get size, kind of like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's actually a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reference in the game, which I thought was awesome. Loved that. Appreciated that. And then, of course, you get the Deadpool hammers. I don't even know what they're called, but they're these like giant mallets. If you ever play this game, get the mallets immediately because they are so powerful. They are just crazy strong. They all kind of serve different functions. Like the katanas are kind of like the all, medium attack, medium speed, stuff like that. The mallets are super strong but slow. The size are, very fast and very good for combos. So there is a little bit of variety there. Of course, Deadpool doesn't just use, melee weapons. He uses guns too. So you get the dual pistols. You get some SMGs, you get the shotguns, dude. The shotguns are freaking rule. And then you get some of these 2 laser guns as well. So that's super fun. A lot of variety in terms of what guns you need to use for which enemies. And then you also get some like tactical grenades and stuff like that. So you get stuns, which help you, tag up executions. Again, this game is very brutal and gory. Just like X-Men Origins Wolverine, this game is nasty. There's a lot of cutscenes, as you'll see, that show a lot of gore and blood. But again, that's authentic to the character and world of Deadpool. So if they didn't do that, you'd feel like something's amiss, right? And then some of the weaknesses of the combat, it's not quite as fast as Wolverine. Like if you've ever played X-Men Origins Wolverine, moving around, slicing through enemies, dodging, countering, blocking, parrying, grabbing. It's so fast and fluid and awesome and super fun to play, and it looks cool. With the Deadpool combat, it is pretty, fast and fluid, but there's just a little bit of delay and the animations aren't as fluid. Again, going back to the $100 million budget, like kind of crazy how this feels like this, but there are times where I feel like I hit the X button or I switched weapons and there's like a little bit of a delay and my input to what I see on the screen. I wish I would have done that a little bit faster, even though I, hit the button. There are a little bit of performance issues too. Played on Xbox One just to, clarify. Can't speak to 360 and PS3. I imagine it has to be better on Xbox One, PS4. Again, who knows? Sometimes ports and remasters can not be the best. Speaking of graphics, actually, I did look at this YouTube video breaking down the graphic comparison from 360 to Xbox One, PS3 to PS4. Game doesn't look that much different. It definitely was just like a quick port. And again, that's going back to the delisting. Game got delisted, and then when the first movie came out back in 2016, they put it out a little bit beforehand just to try to time it up with the release of the movie. That's something I should have mentioned before. This game came out in 2013, way before Deadpool 1 the movie. There's so many fascinating things about this game, dude. It's crazy. I don't even know how to fully explain it here. The graphics aren't, anything to write home about. Certain models do look great. Like Deadpool, I think looks awesome for the, 360 Xbox One era. But then, characters like Vertigo, the mob that you fight, like a lot of the generic bad guys you fight, kind of looked a little janky. There's certain elements of like Deadpool and things like that look great. So it's very confusing. Again, going to level design now. This is the strength and a weakness, but the environments, there's a lot of variety, right? You're in this city, taking down a mob boss. You're in the sewers. You're on the island of Genosha, a famous place in X-Men lore, if you've ever heard about that. You're in a mutant prison. You're in these catacombs, hanging out with Death. You're in Magneto's Citadel. Like, you go all over the place, but at the same time, the game kind of looks the same everywhere you go. You are kind of doing all sorts of cool stuff. You're going everywhere, but it somehow looks the same too. Again, very conflicting, but that's just how I feel. There are some interesting mechanics on occasion. When you're in the catacombs, for example, there's this like little puzzle where you grow big and you grow super tiny. There's like a weird quiz that you have to take. There's like turret sections where you're in a pirate ship. You're in the boot of Sentinel. You're jumping around, flying around, shooting on a turret. So they do mix a little bit of variety into the standard hack and slash gameplay that you go from start to finish. The game is, pretty linear though. You're just going forward. You're going a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. There's not super crazy level design in that regard. You know, there's limited puzzles. You know, you have to find power cores to like turn on sentinel hands to blast open walls or lift up the hand as a platform. The art style though is cool. A lot of the cutscenes are rad. Like there's you know, comic paneling when Deadpool's talking to his two inner monologues, not like Angel and Devil, but like a more goofy and a more serious version of him within his normal personality. This game uses like 4 different art styles. You'll see here sketch drawings, there's like comic, you know, vibrant art style. It's pretty crazy. We got to talk about the writing though, because this game has incredible writing. The story is fairly engaging. At the time when I was playing it, it was I was like, what is going on? Because it's again very Deadpool like, where it starts off already breaking the fourth wall. Then he calls High Moon Studios, again, the people that made the game, to make him a game. They write him a script, you know, after he blows up their building, their office. But then he goes off script, but then it's still part of the script. It's all over the place. So initially I was like, what is going on here? But it's basically you're taking down Mr. Sinister as he's trying to clone, you know, all these X-Men and take over the world. Pretty basic. A lot of cool cameos. Wolverine, big one. Cable, another big one. And then you get other characters like Psylocke and Domino. Then lesser known characters like Arclight and Vertigo. Shout out to Mr. Sinister though, X-Men 97, and the animated series. If you know, does the humor of this game capture Deadpool's aura? Emphatically yes, dude. From the jump, this game is freaking hilarious. Like when you boot up the game for the first time, you call Nolan North, who's the voice actor for Deadpool, as Deadpool. So you're talking from Deadpool to Nolan North. You can literally take a dump in the beginning of the game. It's bizarre, but it's hilarious.
Yeah. There we go. Now we're talking. Much more realistic. Fine. You asked for this. Hundreds of... Oh! You gotta love the ones that make you sweat.
There's a super funny part. You are throwing this grenade to take out some bad guys as Rogue, aka Lady Deadpool, is fighting off bad guys, and Mr. Shugums, your dog, grabs the grenade out of the air and runs towards you and blows up. And I lost my mind, dude. I was like cackling, dude. This game is so wild. It's fantastic. Honestly, we should probably just show like some montages and cuts of just some of the crazy writing here, because you have to see it. You get to see it for yourself, dude. It's hilarious. I loved it. There was a couple times where it got a little extra, a little too much, but most of the time I thought the writing was hilarious and super freaking funny, dude. It was great. Ryan Reynolds, actually, you know, because he was in X-Men Origins Wolverine as Deadpool, kinda, and he had been trying to make a movie for a while, so the game kind of references that again before the first movie came out. A lot of great fourth wall breaks in cutscenes and out of cutscenes, depending on how fast you react to quick time events and things like that. Just brilliant writing all around. Kind of like X-Men Origins Wolverine, there is this slight progression system, a little bit more in depth than the Wolverine game, where there's basically just a couple of skills in Wolverine, you leveled them up. This game has skill trees for like all your weapons, and then as well as just general, like, you know, passive buffs that you can upgrade like with limited skill trees. You'll unlock all of them if you just play through the game. So it's not like you have to pick and choose, but you know, it's like, oh, do I want to do 10% and 20%, 50%, you know, faster rate of fire or more damage? There's also Deadpool points, these little tokens that you pick up in the game that let you unlock those abilities. Again, unlock the mallets, the hammers first, because that is such a powerful weapon. It's so fun to play with. Again, they're all the weapons are fun to play with. Okay, so we were talking about this game. $100 million, got a 60 on Metacritic. Why did it bomb? You got to think about it. 2013, Deadpool was not as popular as he is now, right? Deadpool Wolverine's about to come out. It's about to make $1 gazillion. People love Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. People love Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. And obviously the first two Deadpool movies and Wolverine, you know, Hugh Jackman's career as Wolverine, illustrious. But 2013, no Deadpool movie. He was only featured in X-Men Origins Wolverine, which people did not like him in. And then obviously he was popular as a comics character, but that was much more smaller in scope, right? So that's kind of why this game failed in that regard. And then again, $100 million, massive budget. So the game had to make bank. And because the game was kind of so-so, didn't really make bank, right? So there you go. 2013, At the time, it was not as polished or innovative as like other similar superhero genre games. Just think about at that time, you had Batman Arkham Asylum, you had Batman Arkham City, you even had like games like Spider-Man 2 back in 2004 that emulated the characters just as much so as Deadpool. Deadpool really did that part well, but in terms of open world game design or just game design and combat, definitely fell short. And then again, polished too, right? This game is a little janky. Just to recap, the strengths and weaknesses. Combat does feel good, not as good as X-Men Origins Wolverine. I do like the variety of weapons, the gore and the brutality of the game and of the character is authentic, just like X-Men Origins Wolverine. I do like the variety of environments, even though they're not anything to write home about. The writing is a 10 out of 10 in my opinion, maybe 9 out of 10, because there are some times where it gets a little rote. Some of the weaknesses, again, the performance, you know, I'm pretty sure it's 30 FPS on Xbox One, definitely on 360 and PS3, stuff like that. Again, the combat's just not as good as X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah, the graphics they're not bad, but they're not great. You know, the level design is pretty linear. You're fighting a lot of the same guys. It's going to get repetitive in that regard, even though I did like the combat. Would I recommend the game? Yes, I would. If you are a big fan of Deadpool the character or Marvel comic books, stuff like that. Even if you're just a fan of video games, I kind of would too, but you know, it's very dicey after that because again, I paid $60 on eBay to buy it, to pick it up, because again, it's delisted. You can't get it anywhere else. So I had to pay a little bit of a premium there, and I'm sure with the movie, you know, Deadpool and Wolverine movie coming out, prices and interest are, you know, higher than ever before. But I do think the game is fun enough with the writing and the combat. And again, kind of like what I said with X-Men Origins Wolverine, this game is pretty snappy, pretty short. This game is probably, if you play it on easy, you could probably beat the game in like 5 hours. Again, if you play it on normal, which actually was fairly difficult. The game was kind of difficult on normal. You know, I had to lock in sometimes, so I wouldn't just die left and right, you know. So I do like the difficulty, but again, it's fairly short. This is a game that's kind of meant to be replayed in terms of leveling up. Deadpool completing some of the challenges. There's some challenges in there as well, where you can unlock new skins and stuff like that. And fairly easy achievement list. Didn't have to go too out of my way to get all the achievements. As of writing right now, I'm like 5 short, but I'm gonna get those here in a few days, so no worries. So final verdict on the game, it's fun, but flawed, but definitely recommend you check it out if you can. Again, we don't get these kind of games anymore, right? There's something, you know, that I like to hold on to of, hey, it's a, you know, 6 out of 10, maybe 7 out of 10. I probably would give it a 7 out of 10 versus like the 60s it got, because I do think it does a lot of cool things well, especially with the writing. Not a lot, you know, I don't see that kind of stuff in any other game. So final verdict, fun but flawed. Thanks for watching. Leave it a like, comment, share it. If you got this far, type baboon in the chat and I'll give you $5. How about that? So let's see if you're paying attention. But yeah, we did X-Men Origins Wolverine. This is our second video, Deadpool. Next week, we will have our Star Wars Bounty Hunter video coming out because they are remastering that game. I'm a massive Star Wars fan. Love the prequels, love Jango Fett. So we're doing a video on that as well as a couple other videos we got coming up in the future. So stay tuned on YouTube. Make sure to follow us on Twitch, all socials, join the Discord, all that cool stuff. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next video.